Good afternoon, good evening, this is John Paul Wright. I'm coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. In this video, I'll be featuring Hey Viv in my continuing series, What Does Star Wars Mean to You? Viv's got a great channel. If you haven't, check it out, subscribe. She does DC, Marvel, Star Wars, movie reviews, she does it all. So, enough of me, here's Viv's clip.
What's up, entertainment hacker? Today I'm here to answer your question, what does Star Wars mean to me? Well, ever since I was little, I loved watching Star Wars. I was introduced to this world because of my dad. My dad's a big movie buff as well as Star Wars fan. And Star Wars is kind of a family tradition. I used to watch it with my brothers, my mom, my dad, my grandmother. We all loved Star Wars. I used to play Star Wars a lot as well. We had lightsabers. It was a lot of fun. But I also loved the movies mostly because I think when George Lucas created, he had no idea this was going to blow up the way that it did, and it was mostly because he created very compelling characters, human stories that they are relatable, and good versus evil. And I think, for instance, a lot of us are Luke Skywalkers. We have darkness, but we don't fall to the dark side. And a lot of us are Anakin Skywalkers, you know, that you actually ended up falling to the dark side. But I just love the stories. I think that, you know, it's a world that it plays with your imagination. I also love Leia. Leia was a big inspiration for me growing up because she was a leader, she was strong. So I think that there's so much good in Star Wars, and I just wish that it goes back to be what it was. You know, we all know that after Disney put their hands on Star Wars, especially after The Last Jedi, it really created a mess and a division amongst the fan, and it's not really nice. I know that there was a lot of people that did not like the prequels, but the division and this ugliness, it was not even close to what it was when George used to be in charge of Star Wars. But I just think that Star Wars is pretty awesome. Relatable stories, great characters, and again, it takes us to a galaxy far, far away. Thanks very much for inviting me over to your channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Okay, I gotta give Viv a very big thank you for sending me that clip. I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna touch upon one thing Viv said that I haven't heard here before, quite the same. And I'm going to let my friend, Crazy Crab, touch upon another thing Viv said. And by the way, Crazy Crab actually was the one who recommended me to Viv's channel a little while back. So Viv said it was a family tradition, and that's something that I can really relate to because my grandfather showed me Star Wars, and then I watched it with my father, and now I have sons. The only problem is, I'm not sure I want to show them the Disney Star Wars. But I will definitely show them Star Wars at some point. So yeah, like I said, great point by Viv there. And now, here's my buddy to touch upon something else.
Crazy Crab in Entertainment Hacker's house today. Just listened to Hey Viv's clip on what Star Wars means to her, and I really enjoyed that. And I have to agree with her point on the prequels. It's not like I liked the prequels. For the most part, I didn't, but it seems like we were much more united as a Star Wars fan base, even though, yes, there were people who loved the prequels, there were people who hated the prequels, there were people in between, but we were all Star Wars fans who could debate about Star Wars and whether or not it was stupid that Darth Vader created C-3PO, or why Obi-Wan did not recognize R2 in A New Hope. We were at least arguing about Star Wars topics and not some of the non-related Star Wars stuff that we talk about these days that we're forced to talk about. So that seemed like a much more fun time, and I think most of us, even the quote-unquote prequel haters, still owned copies and still own copies of the prequels. I know I do, and unfortunately I do not own a copy of The Last Jedi. So I have to be in total agreement with Viv. I loved her story too. I love that her whole family was into Star Wars. I think that's really awesome. And hopefully Lucasfilm can get it together soon, and maybe that will continue for families like that who can enjoy Star Wars generation after generation, because that's really awesome. So I love her story and I love her opinions and completely agree with her on the prequels. So that's my thoughts for today. Thank you for having me. Crazy Crab gone.
Alright, some great thoughts all round, and now let me pitch in my opinion on the prequels real quick. The prequels to me were two parts, 1 and 2, and part 3. I really liked 3 a lot, and 1 and 2, not so much. So for me, I'm kind of in the middle with the prequels. I'm neutral, but it was still, yeah, a good time in Star Wars. Now, I'd like to hear from you. Let me know what you thought of Viv's clip down below. This community is growing little by little. consider subscribing, hitting that notifications bell, and I will see you next time.